Very well. Remarkable.
That weapon looks sick, I'm not gonna lie. Tomorrow, chat. Let's get it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another dev stream. It is August, and this is a big month because Season 6 is launching tomorrow, which is really exciting. Hey everybody, I'm going to interrupt this segment really quick. So when we first recorded the dev stream, the initial timing for the Season 6 launch was on 8/18 at 10 a.m. like we would normally do on the patches. We've actually moved this one up a bit. So the actual release time that Season 6 will be live on all platforms is 10 p.m. PST today on 8/17. So keep an eye out for that. A little bit of different time for us this time, but let's get back to the show. I have brought a few familiar faces as well as some new ones. We're going to go into all the new stuff that's coming out tonight. Season 6 launches on all platforms, as well as go into some details of some of the bigger changes that are happening in our patch notes. Now, if you haven't been following along, we've released a bunch of new trailers to set up Season 6. We've got our lore trailer, our CG launch trailer, as well as our gameplay trailer and vignette trailers are live. So if you haven't watched those yet, introducing a lot of the new stuff that's coming to Apex Legends in Season 6 and our new legend Rampart, who we'll be talking about more shortly. Go ahead and watch those. And patch notes are live today too, so you can go ahead and pull those up as we talk about those later. So there's a lot to cover in this episode. So first off, let me introduce our great group of people that we have here. We've got Jason McCord, our design director, our regular here on the dev streams. Thank you for being with us, sir. Manny Hadopian, our writer. This is very exciting. He'll be talking more about Rampart, who is, congratulations, your 10th legend, I believe you have written for in Apex, which is...
Yeah, number 10, lucky 10.
Lucky 10, incredible.
Okay.
David Bochek, one of our designers and our man behind the weapons. And all the cool balance stuff and meta stuff that we're going to be talking about.
We'll
talk more about the Vault coming into Season 6. And Mark, our systems designer, our first appearance. Mark has been doing a lot of great work on Apex. Many of the limited time modes you guys have been playing have been driven by Mark. And Mark is also our man behind crafting.
That guy's hair, bro. That guy's hair, bro.
So, let's get right into it. First off,
my hair's pretty bad.
Give us a little bit of a breakdown and background of Rampart and Sheila, our new legend. That is.
So Rampart is one of those like blue collar small business owners. She's like a modder who kind of made her name in the underground gauntlets throughout the Outlands.
Oh, that's not cool. I shouldn't make fun of
competed in those gauntlets. She has won matches. She's never been interested really in the games themselves, until her shop got, unfortunately, taken out.
Ooh, and unfortunate.
A person who's been keeping an eye on her, which is our old friend Blisk, shows up, and as you had seen in the lore video, gave our first legend the golden ticket, the Apex card, which fans may have recognized from past the opening cinematic with Blisk, or even from Titanfall 2. So it's been pretty great to see this new character kind of get this golden ticket, this free pass to join the games. And I'm really excited for fans to be introduced to this sort of comedic character, a bit of a counterpart to Mirage. She's quick-witted, she's smart, she's been on the streets for a long time, building weapons, modding weapons. And one of the
she's quick-witted. She came from the streets, the hood.
Little mini gun, Sheila. She calls it Sheila. She doesn't go anywhere without Sheila. It's like her best friend. So, yeah.
Imagine a gun being your best friend.
I love her dialogue. Speaking to what Manny was just talking about, her attitude stands out in the roster.
I don't think we're gonna watch this.
I don't say she's disrespectful. She's like talking to Manny a lot of times. It's the same kind of vibe I get.
Yeah. Is that what I give you? I always thought of her as, if someone goes up to one of our legends in a bar, everyone has like a different response when they're like, let's go, let's fight. You want to take this outside? And some people are like, depending on how they act, they're like trying to, calm down the situation. But Rampart is the one who's like, yeah, let's go outside. Should I bring the guns? Should you bring the guns? Should we both bring the guns? Hey, I got this really great gun. You should come to my shop. We'll fight over there. That sort of attitude is what she's all about. Fun. She's ready to go. You can't take her out. And she's likable. She's friendly. This is one of the first legends joining our roster who all the legends actually are cool with her.
That's a cool
Revenant had a bit of like, who's this guy? He took out Forge, we love Forge. Loba took out half of the Thunderdome in Skulltown, and everyone's like not quite sure about her. Crypto snuck in, but now we got Rampart, and everyone's like, that's our girl. We love her.
So like looking at like sort of the breakdown of her kit, essentially, could you break down kind of like passive, tactical to ultimate, sort of like how those three break down specifically for her?
Yeah, so her passive is the modded loader, which is, it's the first time we've done anything like this where we basically, her passive makes her usage of LMGs better. You definitely get encouraged to pick up LMGs.
You wouldn't use
and then
that as finishing somebody. What the heck?
Amp wall. So it actually builds up a solid
Mike,
piece
like,
of cover, and while it's building,
she seems pretty cool. I mean, I'll probably buy her,
so
test her out.
Really, and taken down really easily. But once it's built, it has
That's kind of cool.
pretty good amount of health.
That cover thing.
It's a nice little solid piece of
But
cover.
that never happens
And
in
then
a real
slowly
game.
as
How
the
everybody's
amp
like
shield rises
over
on
there
top
and
of it.
everybody like camps on a building.
And
That's
now
not
it also
Apex.
blocks,
That
but it
doesn't.
can be
Maybe in
destroyed.
Warzone, but that does not
And,
happen.
I mean, the
in
wall can be
Apex.
destroyed too, but the amped part can be destroyed separately. And when you shoot through it from the side that it's built on, it amps bullets.
That's pretty cool, but
So
that's not
she
gonna happen
really
in a
gets
real
a
game.
lot
It
of,
might, but
benefits
it's
by
not
getting
like
to a spot early,
maybe a
setting up
competitive
for
like
walls,
endgame,
set
but
up a
like
bunch
that's
of
not
them,
gonna happen in a
and
real
then,
game. Just
kind of overwatching this position and just raining down fire.
there's some scenarios where you can
And
use
then
it, but I don't
whenever you
think
really feel like you have
she's-
the
she doesn't
really
look
good position on
for,
somebody,
like,
you
a whole
drop
bunch
Sheila
of
down.
different
She,
situations.
the walls amp Sheila's bullets as well, so that her abilities kind of stack on top of each other there. And
That seems
anybody
a
can get
little
on the
OP
turret,
though,
it's
the
not just for
LMG.
her. You drop it, and a friendly can get on it. I mean, an enemy, and then enemies can take her position and suddenly have this defensive position as
That's
well.
kind of
So
cool.
it's sort of fun to see a nice, well-positioned Rampart figure out how to flank, get up in there, flush them out, and now it's your spot and it's your gun, even if you don't have a Rampart with you.
I'm really excited to see how she plays with coordinated squad, especially in in-game, where you're trying to lock down kind of that final circle spot.
Yeah.
And proactive and anticipating kind of where that final
Impressive.
standoff is going to be and keeping yourself to the advantage. Another piece we have coming is, for fans who have been following
Sure.
Apex closely, probably one of the first data mined things we had all the way back a while ago, and that's the Vault SMG. Titanfall fans will remember this gun from the Titanfall games.
Yeah.
It's a really fun energy
That's
weapon.
coming out.
Mr. Bochek, can you give us a breakdown kind of
Oh,
quickly
it's
of,
coming
like,
out?
how
That's
this gun
sick. What the
works
heck?
and,
Okay.
how it fits
That's
into
sick.
the rest of the
All
sort of
right,
group.
bet.
Yeah, for sure. So,
I
like you
bet.
said, it's the first energy ammo SMG introduced into Apex. It's got a pretty moderate fire rate. It's not quite as fast as something like the R99 or the RE45, but it being energy ammo gives it sort of a unique feel in terms of the
It
late game.
seems
You're going to have
decent.
to be arguing with your teammates who are trying to run an L-Star.
But maybe
or
the
a
R99
Devotion
might
even,
be
like,
still
how much
better.
energy ammo
Still
is
seems
each person
actually
gonna
kinda cool,
carry.
though.
Because it's an energy ammo weapon, it's going to carry energy mags. And it's also going to have, its projectiles are a little bit faster and have less drag and a little less gravity. And the Volt has some pretty decently controllable recoil as well. So it's going to be usable at a little bit further range than typical SMGs. So hopefully players like it. I think it's really cool. I think it's a lot of fun to shoot.
The other big change we have coming, it wouldn't be a new season without a map change. This one is like stunning. One of, I think, the coolest set pieces we've done on the maps. McCoy,
Whoa.
walk us through kind of this new map update.
Is that it?
There's a giant rocket.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Hammond's back. They're up to something. They really like building stuff in this
That's
part
kind
of
of
the world.
cool. Is that the
They've got the
only
big
map
rocket,
change? Hopefully
that's-
not.
That's sort of that's the first thing you'll probably see, right, in the dropship when you're flying into World's Edge this season. I know drill site's a big drop. Well, a lot of people's favorite drops. It's kind of in a really good spot, and now it's a completely new look and a new layout and a new theme and everything. So one thing that I'm really excited about for this map update is all the new rotation options. Alex Grainer, the level designer, same guy that gave us
They should have
Octane
mobility,
Town,
more
Wraith
mobility.
Labs, Mirage Voyage. Yeah, so he did this
Like
map
cars
update, and
and
one of the
stuff.
things
be
that
pretty
came to
cool.
the design team right away was he wanted to add a lot more rotation options to.
I think like skateboards or something would be really cool for this.
Edge.
I don't know.
So
With like the new
there's,
character,
the
she seems
rocket
like
sits
she could
over
ride a
the lava-
skateboard.
the lava
That could be
fields
like
in the
her
map, which
ability.
don't have
If
a
I
lot
was a
over there
game
besides
designer,
the dome,
but
so there's a
I'm
lot
not,
of
so
room to
I don't
add
really
some
know.
new play over there, and then the rotations out of there have been, there's one added to the tree, so now if you land in a tree, you got a new place to go to.
What is this called?
One that's really exciting is over by Survey Camp and Skyhook. There's now a cut through that goes through the mountain. because I think a lot of people have experienced
that a new map?
game where you're in Skyhook and
Or
you
is
need
that
to
like a
get
new-
over towards Epicenter, and you
I think that
gotta
was
do
in-
that big loop around or
Wait,
go
what
through
the?
the train tunnel.
Oh,
And
I
both
thought
of
he was
those are
using a
kind of-
wingman. I'm
kind of
like,
painful,
what the
so now
heck?
there's this nice cut through there that
No,
think
it looks
would
like a
be
sentinel.
very
That's not
appreciated.
again.
And then another interesting change that we did was the train has been shut down. And while that kind of seems like, oh, that's a bummer, what that actually gives us is the ability to use the train tracks as play space. Which
That's kind of
in the last few seasons of World's Edge is
That would be sick.
these
I
really
wish
intense
getting
choke
stuff
points
in the
around
trailer
train tunnel,
actually was
because
in the
there's
game.
not really that much cover
Like
you can
if
put
this
in it.
happened,
have to
you
have
know,
this room for the train
like
to move
stuff or a whole bunch
So
of
when
people
we
over
were-
there. That'd be
You know,
sick.
we were trying to tackle that problem. We really wanted to kind of make moving through these choke points a little
That's kind of
little
cool.
more fun. So we started dropping.
It's all
cover
around
in
this
there.
area though.
It's making it easier to move through the map.
Yeah, I'm McCord wrote up a really great blog with some visuals that show before and after and breakdowns of the points of interest and rotational elements. That's live on playapex.com, so it's a great breakdown before we get in there and we're all playing tomorrow. Another big change that's coming this season, we've been working on this for a while. This is crazy to have in a live game. We're introducing crafting into Apex, which is really cool, which, Mark, you have been the man behind a lot of the work
I
that's
think
been
I
done
saw
there.
that in the last trailer, but I'm not sure.
Now, you also have a blog that's live, which is a nice breakdown of crafting and how that works. Could you summarize that for us of sort of like what your goals are and what it's going to feel like for players when they're playing?
Yeah, I'm surprised this one hasn't leaked yet in the amount of time that we've been working on it.
Yeah.
So basically, in a battle royale, when you're talking about loot progression in the loot game, generally
I don't know
the
how
best way to
crafting's
get
gonna
the
work.
best loot in the game is to go around, play aggressively, and kill other players. Because over the course of the game, all of the good loot
You hear the
from
sirens in the
high-tier
background.
POIs gets concentrated in player inventories, and then once they're dead, it becomes concentrated in their death
What?
boxes. So this really pushes an aggressive style of play.
That's kind of weird.
And we
I don't know how I
wanted
feel about
to
that.
build something in Apex that really encourages other, more diverse play styles to come in. Things that reinforce exploration and traversal. You know, for perhaps the players that don't always play as Rambo, the more passive ones amongst us, like me. So crafting is a system that's there to reinforce exploration. It's there to reinforce our loot curve.
I don't know about that. It might be
The way
cool, but
crafting works is there are specific POIs
Seems
around the
weird.
map that have materials. that
we'll
you
watch
can
like
pick
5
up.
more minutes of this.
And these materials are stored on your player.
that's it.
They're not part of your inventory, so they don't take up space in your backpack. And if you die, you keep them. So if you're respawned by your teammates, you come back with any crafting materials that you've collected. And you can go from point to point collecting these materials. You can take them to these things called replicators, which are basically 3D printers for loot. And depending on how many crafting materials you have, you can take them and use them to redeem the loot that we have on rotation within the replicators. These could be things like equipment, they could be weapons, they could also be items that are pretty essential in a BR game, such as a med kit or ammo. So some of our items are on a weekly rotation, some of our items are on a daily rotation. Obviously, building a giant menu where you can craft every single piece of loot in the game isn't really feasible because it's hard to parse as a player and it's also difficult to do as a developer. So we created this rotation system where we would group loot items into categories and those categories would rotate. So things that we have on a weekly rotation are things like helmets, knockdown shields, backpacks, mobile respawn beacons. And things that we have on daily rotations are weapons and attachments that we've chosen specifically to match the weapons that we have on a daily rotation. So on one day you might have an R301 on rotation with an anvil receiver and a 1-2x variable scope. On another day you might have the EVA. You might have an EVA on rotation with a double tap and a close quarters threat scope. And we try to pick these attachments to not only match the weapons that we have on daily rotation, but to also mesh well with other weapons that we have in the game. So, you know, maybe I don't want an EVA, but I'm a really big fan of the G7 and the double tap is there. So I'm excited to engage with the system and craft something out of it, even though all of the things on the rotation aren't necessarily things that I want.
I'm kind of confused.
And then finally,
Do you get like the
when it comes to
crafting materials
rotations,
in the game?
anything that's
I'm
on
not sure.
rotation
I'm not sure,
during that
chat.
day is not going to be spawning in the ground loot. So if a gun is on rotation and you want to play that gun, you have to engage with the crafting system in order to get it.
If you follow the dev streams, you remember season 5. We didn't have a weapon in season 5, and you remember me saying that we kind of thought the loot pool was starting to get a little dense, especially for weapons, and we didn't think that we needed one at the time, and that we were working on a solve, and Mark had the solve. So now we've got weapons, there's one weapon every game that can only be found in the crafting pool, and that sort of lets the Volt come in cleanly and take up the place of a spot bet. So there's not an extra weapon on the ground.
Very cool. And crafting actually is going to play into another big thing that we are changing within the meta for season 6, and that's how armor is going to work. So McCord, do you want to give us like a breakdown of like the armor changes that are going to be in season 6 across all modes?
I am so excited about this. This is such a big change to the whole game. Drum roll. All armor in the game is Evo armor. Everything you find on the ground is an Evo armor. Now, you fly into the map with a level 0 Evo armor on you. What this means is you can land, you can find a gun right away, you can start to get in a fight, you do 50 damage, your armor will level up automatically, and now you'll have a white armor. We think this will really help with sort of loot availability in the early game.
It's kind of cool.
And then if you find
I don't know how I feel about that.
right away,
I'll
sometimes
see
you
about
have to
it.
drop, you find the purple just right there, right? You'll see it, it'll be a glowing Evo armor. You pick it up, you can swap it right out, and now you have a purple Evo armor. You can continue leveling it up to red. Or if you find a blue, you'll keep leveling it up. And just as a couple clarifications there, gold is still on the map, still in the same rare sort of availability that it's always been. And there's no reds in the ground loot. So you can only get to red through Evo.
Okay, I mean, that's not like
so what's really exciting about this
huge to the
change is
meta,
that
but
we've now given you 3 different ways to get to good armor through all the different systems. So now you can land, you can get a weapon, you can start doing damage. You get in a really big fight without even having the chance to loot armor, and suddenly you have blue armor because you've just done some damage. You just use some shield cells, heal it up, and you're good. You can still run into armor through the RNG, find some armor on the ground, get upgrades that way. And with crafting, you can land, you can do a bunch of damage, you can level up to blue, you can still have another 100 damage points to get to purple.
I don't want to spoil it too much, and I have to go to school right now, so tomorrow or tonight it comes out. I don't know if we'll play it tonight. We'll probably play it tomorrow, tomorrow morning or something. I think that it'll be good. I think they'll do a good job. New guns coming, and hopefully they do a good job. We'll be checking out tomorrow. We'll be playing more on live stream tonight, so I don't want too much of it to be spoiled. We'll do a battle pass video, a gameplay video of me just playing it for the first time, and then we'll do my thoughts on the new season, and there'll be a lot of Apex content coming out soon, so